like the uploader details for those of you who are interested in that, and she'll provide a live demo. And Kristen, are you able to?
Yeah, I was just,
I've
got my slides ready, and I was just closing out my email.
Okay.
So that we don't have any distractions.
Great.
Okay, so let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, can see it. Thank you.
So welcome, everybody. We'll just go through just a couple of things this morning. Thank you for joining us. If you have any technical difficulties, if you'll just try logging out and back in, or you can send comments in the chat box. Audrey will be checking those for us. Or you can email swquality@heart.org. If you do have any questions throughout the presentation, you can type those in the chat box just by hovering over the bottom of the screen for the chat icon. We do ask that you remain on mute just to cut down on the background noise and echo. But if you have a question, you can come off mute at any time by pressing *6 if you are on your phone. That will unmute you, and then to go back on mute, you just press *6 again. If you are joined by computer audio, you can click on the phone icon at the bottom to mute and unmute. Sometime this month, hopefully at the end of this week or early next week, we will be able to send out our congratulations to all hospitals that have achieved STEMI and NSTEMI recognition for 2020, which is using 2019 patient records. So we have the emails, we have the certificates. We are just waiting on the marketing toolkit that you guys need in order to promote in social media, in the newspapers, online, however you want to do that. So those are coming really soon. There will also be a U.S. News and World Report list of all of the hospitals that achieved gold or silver, and that will come late summer or early fall. And just an overview of the recognition levels for Mission Lifeline. STEMI and NSTEMI award status are independent of each other. Bronze is for 1 quarter, 1 calendar quarter. Silver is for 12 consecutive months. So for 2019, if this is your first year of achieving recognition for a calendar year, then you will be silver. Or if you lost your gold status, you'll start back with silver. It's for 12 consecutive months. And so once you reach 24 consecutive months, then you are gold. And we have the receiving icons available, but we also have this for referral centers as well. Your success is worth sharing. We want you to promote your awards to the best of your ability this year. We realize that with everything going on with the COVID-19 pandemic, that it won't look the same probably, but there are certainly ways for you to promote within the hospital for your staff and externally for your patients and community as well. And so we have just a list of ways that other hospitals have in the past. I do want to say that this year, your QSI director will not be able to attend any in-person events. But if you're hosting an event at your hospital for your staff, EMS, we will certainly make every effort to join virtually if you'll let us know the date and time and what you have planned. So just a few things, and I won't read them all off, but adding the award icon to your email signature is an easy way to promote. Send a memo to your hospital board of directors, the CEO, other hospital stakeholders. And of course, you'll have the toolkit that has a newspaper press release, the icon, and ways of promoting as well. And again, if you schedule that ceremony at your hospital, just reach out to your QSI director, and we will make every effort to join and celebrate with you virtually. There will be ways to promote on social media as well, using Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we want to go over the changes for 2020 hospital recognition. So this will be using 2020 discharge patient records. So these are in effect for this year right now, but when you are recognized for these, it will be in 2021, about this time next year. So a new achievement measure, which was one of the optional ones last year, is arrival to 12 lead ECG within 10 minutes. And that must be met at 85% or greater. We've done a great job at meeting this one, and so it was moved to reporting, and the numbers, the percentages have dropped. So we've brought it back to an achievement requirement. And the ones that are the same, that must be met at 75% or greater, or still your arrival to PCI within 90 minutes, aspirin at discharge, beta blocker at discharge, ACE ARB at discharge, cardiac rehab from the inpatient setting. So you need to get that referral done before they leave the hospital. So you'll notice that aspirin at arrival went away. It's in the reporting measure set now. As a nation, I believe we were in the high 90s, maybe 98%. So it was no longer necessary to leave that as achievement. We were able to move that over to a reporting measure. So another new measure requirement for 2020 discharges is the high intensity statin at discharge. And also the EMS first medical contact to PCI within 90 minutes or within 120 minutes when the EMS drive time is greater than 45 minutes, greater than or equal to 45 minutes, but the door to balloon is within 30 minutes. So if there's a long drive time and you still get that door to balloon done quickly, then we do allow for 120 minutes due to the drive time. So that's the same as last year as well. The only two new requirements for achievement status are arrival to 12 lead ECG within 10 minutes, and then the high intensity statin at discharge. And also, sorry, there's a new one that you only have to meet it at 50% or greater this year. And so it's arrival to the first hospital to PCI within 120 minutes. So last year, this was a quality measure. It was a plus. You could be silver plus, gold plus if you met this at 75%. But since we are moving it to a required achievement measure, we dropped the requirement percentage down to 50%. So for those patients that arrive at your referral centers and then transfer to you for primary PCI, that needs to be done within 120 minutes, 50% of the time. And then, which leads us to the new plus measure, the quality measure that will give you a silver plus or gold plus. And it's first medical contact at or before the first hospital arrival to PCI within 120 minutes. So if EMS picks up a patient and takes them to your referral center, and then the referral center transfers them to you for primary PCI, this needs to be done at the start of EMS first medical contact to PCI within 120 minutes. And this too only has a 50% requirement this year in order to achieve that plus measure. So I want to go over those two just one more time because it can get confusing. So as far as achievement measure, your gold, silver, plus, the old quality measure has been moved up to achievement, but only at 50%. So that's going to be when they arrive at the door of a referral center and then transfer to the receiving center for primary PCI. It needs to be done within 120 minutes, 50% of the time for gold, silver, or bronze. Now then, if you're going for that plus, the plus measure has changed. So instead of starting at the door, we're going to start with EMS time if EMS is the one to pick them up. So if EMS picks them up at the field, takes them to the referral center activates and transfers to the receiving center. For primary PCI, it still needs to be done within 120 minutes. And this is for plus status. Okay. And this is these are for the STEMI Receiving Center. We'll take a look at referring hospitals. So it's a little bit different. These hospitals, we want them to focus on getting a 12-lead ECG and then giving lytics or getting them out the door for primary PCI. So their achievement measures that must be met at 75% or greater for recognition are arrival to 12 lead within 10 minutes, arrival to lytics within 30 minutes, door in, door out within 45 minutes, aspirin at arrival, aspirin at discharge, beta blocker at discharge. And the discharge medications are only for those patients that are kept and not transferred out. I don't imagine that happens very often. I can't imagine why that would happen unless, a patient just absolutely refused to go. So for the most part, the only measures that would apply to referral centers would be arrival to 12-lead ECG within 10 minutes, and then either the lytics or the door in, door out, depending on whether or not you give lytics or transfer out. So the rest of the measures, and aspirin at arrival, the rest of the measures that have to do with discharge normally do not apply to referral centers, but they are there in the event that a STEMI patient is kept at your facility and discharged home. And so there's a plus measure for referral centers as well. And it's door in, door out within 30 minutes. So if you meet that 25% of the time, we know it's very difficult to get a patient in and out of a referral center door within 30 minutes. And so at this time, we are only requiring 25% or greater compliance. But you'll notice for an achievement measure, you have to get them in and out the door within 45 minutes, 75% of the time. So just, notice the difference there. It's required that you get them in and out within 45 minutes, but if you're able to do it within 30 minutes, then you could receive a plus award as well. For NSTEMI recognition, it's the same whether or not you're a receiving center or a referral center. And one of the things that I did not mention was volume on the other two, but those are listed in these slides. We'll go out, and it's 36 STEMI records per calendar year. For receiving centers, I'll go back real quick. Sorry about that. 36 STEMI records per calendar year. And, we realized that there for a while, for several months, hospitals were not, patients were not dialing 911. They weren't coming to the ER. They were afraid to. So if there are volume issues related to COVID, we can discuss those as it gets closer to award time. And then for referral hospitals, the volume criteria is at least 1 for bronze and at least 2 for the calendar year. Last year, I believe the volume requirement was 8 for a calendar year. And so we want you to be able to enter your records and be recognized if you're a referral center. And then for NSTEMI recognition, the volume is 36 NSTEMI records. That says STEMI, but it should say NSTEMI records. And the measures there are cardiac rehab referral, ACE, ARB at discharge, LV, function evaluated smoking cessation counseling. And then dual antiplatelet therapy on discharge is for the medically managed NSTEMI patient. And so that's for any patient that was an NSTEMI that did not receive PCI or CABG. As far as the Mission Lifeline regional report data, you probably all are aware that you can make changes to your data at any time, but we like to share the deadlines for being included in the quarterly reports. So it's typically 2 months after the close of the quarter. For those of you that have option 1 and option 2 in CAD, you are able to adjust data throughout the year and refresh your Mission Lifeline report. But for those that are option 3 and receive that static report, these are the deadline for data inclusion in the Mission Lifeline reports. So the next deadline will be August 31st, and that will be for quarter 2, and then November 30th for quarter 3, and February 28th, 2021 for quarter 4. We also have voluntary public reporting. That was open. It's open annually. It was open the first couple of weeks in June, and I believe it's closed. I'm not sure if I don't believe that there will be another opportunity this year to opt in, but those links were sent to the primary contact at your facility. And again, next year for any hospitals that have not opted in, we'll give them another opportunity annually. What's reported is the achievement measures. So that's what will show your percentages there. You can go in if you are publicly reporting, or if you're not, you can click on the link and enter your zip code and city and see who around you is publicly reporting what all hospitals are. And you could also get a good look at, what it looks like. So it's consumer friendly. They can hover over the measure and it will explain it. If you do not have enough volume, it will just show volume too low to report. So even if you're a low volume hospital, for some measures, it may show your percentages, and for some, it may say that volume is too low to report. If you have opted in and you've changed your mind, you don't want to opt in any longer, you can opt out at any time, but you will not be able to opt in again until the next annual opt-in period. So I believe the plan is to make that available every spring to opt in. And I don't think that I saw the link. Oh, here it is. So Quality Near Me at heart.org. So this is the link to go to look and see if you're there. And if you're not, to consider opting in with the next available time. One of the things that we wanted to point out today is the Mission Lifeline feedback report. When I was a STEMI coordinator, I entered my data into the registry, and then I kept a side spreadsheet and created my own feedback reports as well. So once you enter your information into the registry, you can, and you save that record, you can generate a feedback report to send to EMS or to your referral centers, or you can print this, put it up in your emergency department, your cath lab, wherever you're giving feedback. Once it's entered into the registry, it is available immediately to generate a report to share. So this is just a sample report of what shows up. When you generate this report, it will be in a Word document. So if you want to take out some information, like if you want to add information. I know I personally did not share patient initials and physician names. So it just depends on what your legal department will let you share as far as feedback that's not peer review. You can highlight things. So if times are in the red zone, you can highlight those to red easily. If you want to add pictures, maybe the EKG or your pre and post cath lab images, since it's a Word document, you could just copy and paste, save it, and send it on. So this is really nice, and this isn't all that's available on there, but this is just a sample form. And this is found when you go into configurable measures reports. Well, not actually into the configurable measures reports, but when you click on reports, there will be configurable measures reports, Mission Lifeline feedback reports. There will be a link there to click on. There's also a time tracker. So that Excel spreadsheet that I was keeping, to the side for my own tracking. Again, once it's entered into the registry, you can generate an Excel spreadsheet that tracks what you're tracking. And so it's got your EMS times, your transfer times. It will have the date and the time, but then it will also calculate the minutes for you. So I know I had to calculate my own minutes. So it's a really nice Excel spreadsheet that will save you some time if you'll just start with entering into the registry, get into that habit, and then generating a report or a spreadsheet instead of, working the opposite way. So if you have any questions with those, I'll be glad to demo those or, work with you one-on-one if you have questions. So we also have for our referral centers a streamlined data abstraction form for referral centers. So there's a new required question in the demographics section. You've probably already seen it, but it says not admitted, transferred out to acute care facility. So if you click on this, it's going to it's going to hide a lot of the elements that do not apply to referral centers. So it's just looking at those basic things, arrival mode. Did they get their 12-lead EKG? Did you get them lytics or out the door? Basically is what it's looking at. So if you're a receiving center and you're working with referral centers and you really want them to start tracking data on their end as well, we would encourage you to reach out to them and let them know that there is a registry available for STEMI referral centers as well. And it's not a lengthy process to enter the data and to run reports and track on their end. We have an enhanced filters option available in the reports now. And this is just pointing out if you want to run a report on measures, the filter icon, you click on it and a filter menu will pop up. And if you want to, there's all kinds of options for you to filter your achievement or reporting measures by, gender, age, whatever it is that you're tracking, that you're looking at, you're able to do that there. So we just wanted to point out the filter icon. We have social media materials that are available for you to share. You can share from your hospital social media accounts, your website. Individually, if you just want to get the message out there, if you've noticed that in your area that patients are still afraid to call 911 or to come see you. So this is just a couple of examples. We have another one called Don't Die of Doubt. That's also available. And when these slides go out, there's a link there that you can click on. So, we encourage you to share this with your marketing department as well. We've made some adjustments to the registry. You've probably noticed, but we are also asking now, was there a documented non-system reason for delay? We've added need for additional PPE for suspected or confirmed infectious disease. And the same for non-system reason for delay. We've added that option. That way, if there's a time delay because COVID is suspected, we want you to put your PPE on. We want you to protect yourself as you're taking care of patients. So, if that's the reason why there's a delay for getting the ECG or transferring into the cath lab, there is a way to select that, and it will not, it will keep you from falling out of the measure. It's also asking, besides the reason for delay, it's asking about active bacterial or viral infections on admission or during hospitalization. And then also previous medical history. So these were added in April. We've updated the coding instructions as well. So if you're checking in the coding instructions. And we also realized that there may be issues with cardiac rehab referrals. So your cardiac rehab may be closed. The patient may be too afraid to come if you are open. So if it's COVID related, you can select healthcare system reason if you're closed or if you're required to stay home. So, or you could select medical reason if they're not attending to avoid exposure to COVID. So I was on a Mission Lifeline call with Colorado yesterday, and so I asked about cardiac rehab, and they do have their cardiac rehabs open, but with limited patients attending. So I'm not sure what the other states are doing just yet, but if you are not open, there is a way to select either healthcare system reason or medical reason and not fall out of the measure. And then the COVID-19 non-system reason for delay is also available for referring hospitals as well. We have a new COVID-19 CVD registry powered by Get With the Guidelines. It is complimentary. It collects data on all hospitalized COVID-19 patients, and this is for hospitals with a strong serial labs, cardio biomarkers, and cardiovascular outcomes. So it says expected to launch in May. It did, in fact, launch. We have over 100 hospitals, I believe, that are already part of the registry. And there's an opportunity for research available there too. So if you're interested in entering your COVID patients, you can contact quality research at heart.org. You can also go to the heart.org webpage and get more information on the COVID-19 registry. And there's actually a list of all the hospitals that are participating on the website. So I like to share this COVID-19 comparison when I have meetings. And so the map on the left shows April 6th, when we were really first just getting started with COVID. And so this is broken down by each region, the AHA regions, and we are the region in the red. And you can see how we've grown over the last 3 months. So there's a lot of growth there. I realize that we may not have been hit as hard as some of the other regions, but we are seeing increased numbers. So that social media messaging, maybe you didn't need it before, but it's still available now as we continue to grow and things change from even one state or within states. So that's available. And now, Natalie, if you are ready, we are going to switch to a live demo. Or I guess we could take questions. Audrey, are there any questions in the chat box before we go to this?
There's no questions yet.
Okay. If anyone has questions, you can type those in, or you can come off mute by hitting *6 to unmute, or if you're logged in with computer audio, you can click the icon at the bottom to unmute. Okay, so and we can take questions again after Natalie. So I want to introduce Natalie Navarre. She is one of our QSI directors, and she is going to show just a quick demo of uploading a file into Get With the Guidelines CAD. So if you use a third-party vendor, you have a compatible third-party vendor that has the compatible Get With the Guidelines CAD software, then they can give you a quarterly file for you to upload, and that's what she's going to show. If you're using the NCDR registry and you're able to download a file from NCDR, if you have access to that, we have an email, we have instructions and an email address on where to send that to get IQVIA to upload for you. But what Natalie is going to show is what a third-party vendor with compatible software, what that file would look like, and then to troubleshoot if there are issues with that file, how to troubleshoot, how to figure out what the issues are and how to fix them. So Natalie, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, wonderful. So thanks everybody. As they said, I'm interested in interoperability. I have a background in digital medicine tools. And so what I'm showing you here, this is we have a demo site. And so this is the demo site for us for coronary artery disease. Over here on the left, you see this upload button. So, excuse me. So when you go to upload a file, you'll hit upload and your page will look either similar or fairly identical to this. And then it'll tell you to choose a file. So you go ahead. You find a file and hit upload. And so real quick, before we move further, these slides will be sent out, and I don't know how to show them to you at the same time as doing the demo, but there are a few things that I have found are big for troubleshooting before you even start the upload. So four issues that I have found in files that are frequent is that the file is either not saved as a CSV file, it's saved just as a plain old Excel file. The file name may not contain any special characters. Every now and then you get a file name that's got, someone saves it with a number sign or something of that nature. Number 3, row 1 of the documents always has to be your data elements. Those are your column headers. And then the file has to contain at least these 4 data elements: patient ID, arrival date, discharge date, and gender. And so if you meet those 4 requirements, if you make sure that you meet those 4 requirements before even beginning upload, you could save yourself a good amount of time and headache. So then we'll go back, and I uploaded the file, and you can see right here, file name. And there's also an upload ID, which is good to have on hand, especially if you find issues with your file. So at that point, you can go over here to where it says View Reports. That's right underneath a 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4 means that 4 out of your 4 records were uploaded successfully. Not to be a pessimist, but you will generally have some issues with some of the records. And something that's lovely here is that right here under your uploader validation report, you can click on error. So this pie chart shows you that there are both warnings and errors here. I don't know exactly what the difference here is, except that I believe that with an error, you won't be able to save the file as complete, and with a warning, it's telling you that something's wrong, but it's not going to ruin the ability to save the file as complete. And please correct me, someone, if that's incorrect. So then, in moving over here to the right, alerts by uploaded records. This is really nice. So you go ahead and you can click on the error, and down here at the bottom, it spells out for you what's wrong. So if you expand, I like to expand my boxes. If you expand, it literally tells you right here, under active infection is required, and it's not there. Under here, interv NPI, which happens to be your interventionalist's NPI number, provided is invalid. And then same here, your ED NPI is invalid. And then the link opens you in a new page. Over this X shows you pre-hospital arrival, that's where there's an issue. And even more detailed is when you click on this clipboard, it really outlines what's wrong. So if you haven't caught it yet, you click on that clipboard and it tells you here, active bacterial or viral infection is required. Please enter a value. Further loveliness is that once you click on that, it takes you to where it is. And this is kind of a new feature. So this wasn't here even a month ago. You had to go searching a little bit for where the error was. And here, so that's great. So see, you can see here that it takes you right to where you're missing something. So you say they have a bacterial infection, save, and you fix that error. So that's cool. Let me see. That's kind of the main point. Let me show you one or two other things before I let you go. So in talking about, I apologize, in talking about the NCDR files, what I have on my screen is what an NCDR download is going to look like as an Excel file. You can see here that there's a lot going on. There's episode, there's ED, there's attending. So it has several different sheets. You cannot convert something with multiple sheets into a CSV file. And therefore, we offer the option, if you have it, if you're not able to convert your NCDR Excel file into an upload compatible file, then you can email it over to someone on our team, and then they'll send you back a file that is correct. The IQVIA, who we partner with, will fix the file for you and send it over. So that's really nice. Two last things is that well, now it's not opening. Okay, I apologize. I was going to show it next to another file. Here we go. So the one that I uploaded into the uploader, into the PMT, this is what that looks like. And you can see here that this first line is the column headers. And they have to be in a certain, they have to be written a certain way. So patient ID cannot be, there can't be a space in there can't be capitalization, and all of that is spelled out in the CAD uploader instructions. So if you don't have the uploader instructions, let us know. We will absolutely get those to you. And there's a lot of, I'm just kind of summarizing what is in this file. And again, it tells you here, sorry, I'm making you dizzy. It tells you here data element, attending physician, and variable name is what it has to be named as in your Excel file. Again, as I mentioned, you have to have those four main items, and then you can upload. And if there are blanks, that's fine. But again, you know, just to circle back, the four first things to look at: CSV file, no special characters. Row 1 is your data elements. The file contains at least these 4 data elements, and as they are spelled out to be written in the uploader guide. So I hope I didn't just confuse anyone further, but it gets, you know, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and it becomes you know, easier to read the error messages on the IRP. So Kristen, is there anything else that I can show you guys, or does anyone have any questions that I might be able to answer?
Natalie, I was just going to say, we were, you know, wanting to point out that if you haven't, am I echoing?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Can
Wait,
you go on mute?
Oh, me? Yes. I apologize. Maybe.
Okay. Okay, I'm not echoing anymore. Sorry about that. We just wanted to point out that for those of you that have, you know, a compatible vendor with compatible software, your file looks a certain way, and then you go into the registry and upload like Natalie did and check for your warnings and errors and make corrections. And if you're using NCDR, your file looks differently because it's got tabs at the bottom. You just download that file. Follow the instructions and email it to IQVIA, and then they actually upload it. So if you're using either way and you have questions, let us know. Or if you're interested in learning how you can, you know, go about getting your data in, we can help you with that too. So there was a question. Thank you, Natalie. There was a question in the chat box from Krista. It says the EKG within 10-minute achievement measure. For patients that are transferred to you, is that measure the EKG done at the receiving facility or the referring facility. And so I'm going to go on mute, and Lonnie's going to share, or Lonnie, you want to take over? Okay. So, so Krista, that a measure, it just applies to either.
Sorry, I had trouble
Okay.
coming off mute.
Okay.
So, yeah, great question.
Your screen
Great
is blank,
question,
Lonnie.
Krista. Okay, let me get back to sharing content. So, you are not, you do not have to worry about, let's see here. How about now? Can you see
Yes.
my?
I can see
Okay,
it.
wonderful. So you don't need to worry about doing a 12-lead ECG if it's already been done. And there's a document that you can find in the library, the CAD library, and it's entitled STEMI Receiving Center Achievement Measures. This is a document that you can use to determine like when you're falling out of a measure and or when you will fall out of a measure and when you will fall in. So like what I had pulled up is the ECG within 10 minutes of arrival at this receiving center. So on page 7, which let's go down to that and just take a look, you can find when you're going to fall into the numerator and denominator of that measure for any of the measures, achievement measures. So here's ECG within 10 minutes of arrival. It tells you, who's going to be included in the denominator, and then you'll be able to see who is going to be excluded. And so here it says patients who are transferred from another acute care facility, or patients with an ECG performed prior to arrival at the receiving center. So if EMS has done the 12-lead ECG, or if the transferring facility has done the 12-lead ECG, those patients will be removed from the denominator. And so they'll be excluded, and then you don't have to worry about, performing the 12-lead ECG within 10 minutes. You're just going to want to make sure that you enter the information. So when you receive that record from the transferring facility or the run sheet from EMS, you're going to want to make sure and document that the 12-lead was done, and when it showed positive for STEMI, whether it was a subsequent ECG that was done by EMS or the transferring hospital that showed STEMI. All those things factor in to calculating the measure for your report. So you don't need to worry about that one if it's done prior to if it's been done prior to arrival to your place. You're welcome, Krista. Any other questions that we can help you with? Just scrolling through the chat box. Or questions for anyone, Natalie, regarding Uploader, Kristen, or I? Okay. It doesn't look like it unless Audrey or Kristen, you see anything else. You will receive a copy of the slide, so you'll have all the information that was presented today. If you're curious about the Uploader, get in touch with one of us and we can help you with that. There's no fee for, if you want to upload the data, that if you're also entering it into Chesapeake MI, there's no charge for doing that. It will upload around 90% of the data elements. You would need to go in and enter information that's not included in the file, you know, because the registry, the data elements don't match up exactly, but we can help you with that if that's something you're interested in doing. Audrey, I'll pass it over to you to finish up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you everyone who joined. The slides will be sent out to you within 1 to 2 weeks of this presentation. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Lonnie, Kristen, or Natalie. Thanks guys, and have a wonderful day.